Good afternoon. I'm Steve Rehorst, one of the public information officers for the Watertown Area COVID Task Force. Thank you for joining us today as we have our COVID media briefing today. Up first, we will have Mayor Caron with a community update. Then we have a lot of representatives from area educational. So thank you.
Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. In South Dakota, we currently have 76 people hospitalized today, and we've had 169 deaths in our state. Cottington County has had 372 cases, 210 are recovered, and we still have 160 active cases in our county. There are 258 active cases in the 9-county region that uses our healthcare system. South Dakota is currently on the airport quarantine list for Chicago. You may have heard that. So if you fly from any airport in South Dakota to Chicago, you'll be quarantined for 2 weeks. I want people to understand that that does not apply to people passing through or traveling through Chicago to another destination. That's only for flights that end in Chicago and start in South Dakota. The reason for that is the high number of cases that we have currently in our state, and hopefully we'll be off of that list soon. The criteria is a 7-day average number of new cases per day per 1,000 population, and it has to be under 15. Currently we're about twice that. So they measure that every Tuesday and decide you have to keep it below that number for 2 weeks before we'll be taken off the list. So we want off of that list. The good news is that our hospital is not being overtaxed with our current spike that we're having in cases. The most number of cases we've ever had is 4, and that's very manageable. It's not a problem for the hospital. But the clinics are another story. We are having a problem at the clinics. They're being overrun with calls and crowds. The high clinic volume is the problem. So we want for not so many people to be feeling the symptoms of COVID at the same time. So I think you know the drill. What we need you to do is to really be careful to follow the procedures. Avoid large crowds and gatherings. Keep a good social distance of at least 6 feet from other people. And wear a mask in public wherever it's required or where social distancing is not possible. And practice good hand hygiene. And probably the most important thing, stay home if you're having symptoms of COVID. And even if you're not sure it is, you maybe think it might be allergies, just err on the safe side and stay away from other people. According to medical experts through controlled trials, masks have been shown to be beneficial in protecting well people while they're out in the community. And this is all about risk reduction. We know we're not going to eliminate COVID in our community, but we do want to protect those at high risk for severe symptoms, and we want to keep our workforce healthy so that we can keep our workplaces open. So please continue to make responsible choices. And now I'd like to introduce Dr. Jeff Danielsen, the Superintendent of Watertown School District.
Hello, my name is Jeff Danielsen. I'm the Superintendent of the Watertown School District. And first thing I'd like to do is just walk through the positive COVID notification process with the general public. Should there be a confirmed case of a student or staff member in our school district, hopefully we get a call from the Department of Health that will come to myself or the Assistant Superintendent. We are also asking people to self-report to their child's principal or to, if you're a staff member, to their supervisor if there is a positive test. Then a text notification will be sent out to the staff and families in the buildings of a positive case, and we will begin contact tracing work done to help identify those possible close contacts if they've been present at school. Those students or staff members who have been identified as a possible close contact will then be notified separately from the district. Hopefully, as that process unfolds, those people who are identified as a close contact will then be notified through the South Dakota Department of Health, and that they would be subject to those quarantine guidelines in that respect. The other thing I want to talk about today is our online learning plan that has begun. We have roughly 210 students who have opted for the online version of our K-12 education this year as Watertown. They are fully enrolled Watertown school districts or Watertown school students. We are grateful for our staff members who are helping us conduct education in this manner. If you are listening and you happen to be a parent of an online learner and for some reason you have not been contacted by a teacher, we urge you to contact the school that your child would attend. We did receive word about a possibility of free meals. Once again, that was done in the spring. That would be more information coming out on that, but that would run through December 31st. But I also want our online families to know that you are eligible currently for the food service program. Again, contact the school office for that. I would also like to remind families out there that our return to school plans are online. You can go to the Watertown homepage and refer to the COVID-19 resource page. I would urge you to be familiar with the return to school plans that were put out this summer for familiarity as to what might be happening on the various stages as we go through the process this fall. Finally, I know that there would be some interest up to this point. We have had 4 positive COVID cases amongst our student body. One of them is actually an online learner, so is not actually present in our schools at this time. And then 44 students who have been quarantined through the close contact process. And then we have 1 staff member who has been notified of a positive test and 2 staff members quarantined through the close contact process. We did have several who this summer were either in the close contact or were tested positive, but those students and staff were not subject to the contact tracing because those happened prior to students starting last Thursday. So I would stand by for any questions later, but thank you very much. And I'm turning it over to Diane Stiles from Lake Erie Tech.
Hi, good afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity to give the Watertown community an update on Lake Area Technical College. We're grateful for all of the experience and expertise that we've been provided over the last 6 months to plan for a fall start to safely offer technical education on campus. The mission of Lake Area Tech is to change lives and launch careers. Access to high-quality technical education for our students, our business partners, and our communities is essential. Workforce development is key to supporting the regional economy, and it's important now more than ever. So our instructors at Lake Area Tech are incredibly innovative, and they've always been innovative. They've offered online and hybrid programs for decades. Last spring, they pivoted and they offered online remote opportunities to finish the last of the objectives as we finished out the rest of the semester remotely, and they did that with little resources, and they innovated and they did the best they could with what they had. But when we talk about technical education, many of our programs are reliant on the hands-on education that's provided in our shops and labs if we're going to effectively educate our students and get them ready for their careers. So the goals of our 2020 fall plan were first to protect those most at risk of severe COVID-19 symptoms, and then the second goal was to contain the spread of COVID-19 on campus to allow us to continue in person safely. So the return to campus strategy included creating program bubbles, and we created seating charts to limit the exposure of students while they were on campus. We provide symptom screening and temperature checks at all the entrances. We space students more than 6 feet apart, which has really been our focus because the distance is what matters most in not spreading the virus. And then secondary to that, when we can't keep 6 foot distance, we do require masks in the public places. So Lake Erie Tech approached the fall, and we emphasized personal responsibility, and we educated the students on COVID-19 symptoms, how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And the response has been tremendous. The students and the employees have a high level of compliance with the guidelines that we have given them, and we're all committed to that central purpose of containing the spread so we can continue our high-quality technical education on campus. So another part of our plan is timely reporting of positive cases, response, and then data collection to make sure that we have the information that we need to inform and adapt our strategies as we continue through this unknown territory. So when we entered the fall semester, we knew that there would be COVID-19 cases on campus, and the more important number that we need to look at are the number of serious cases that we have on campus. And I'm pleased to report today that we have no hospitalizations on campus since we started 3 weeks ago. And then we also do not have any on-campus spread. So for us, all of the positive cases that we do have on campus were caused by external content. Maybe a parent was actually positive and the student went home for the weekend, or tied to an event such as a wedding. So we hope that that trend continues, and we're doing everything we can to protect students while they're here on campus. So as you know, we closely monitor the COVID-19 data, and it's important to note a couple of things before I share the numbers with you of where we are today. So the data is self-reported. It's in addition to the data that we receive from the Department of Health. The numbers do include online students and dual status students that may or may not be on campus, and they may or may not live in Watertown. And so all of our data is cumulative. And then the isolated and quarantined students, they actually continue online through Microsoft Teams or another method so that they can continue their education. And when they're able to return to campus, we make up that hands-on education that they may or may not have missed. So as of Wednesday, the total number of employee cases, we have 1 active case and 5 quarantined. For our students, we have 19 active cases and 38 quarantined. And none of those cases have been considered serious cases. All have very mild symptoms, and I'm pleased that they're recovering well at home in their environment and able to continue to learn during this time. And I do want to take the time to thank Prairie Lakes Healthcare, Sanford, Brown Clinic, and Quick Care for guiding us through this first 3 weeks of school, and then also helping our community family get the education and resources they need to keep themselves safe. The Department of Health has been a great partner with us, providing timely information and notifications. And then we also would not achieve this level of success without the support of the Watertown School District, the school board, and the State Board of Technical Education. So there are a lot of people that have a great hand in the success of Lake Area Tech, and we're grateful for all of them now more than ever. And then I just want to take a moment to offer gratitude to those on the front line, including our healthcare providers, first responders, and educators, and elected officials. These are trying times, and you guys are doing a wonderful job. So thank you for the opportunity to update you today, and I'll be around for questions afterward. And I do have a side note that has nothing to do with COVID. The Watertown Hall of Fame, our president, Mike Cartney, is actually going to be inducted into the Watertown Hall of Fame. It's a virtual event, so you can all join safely from your living rooms, and that's going to be on Saturday, September 12th at 4:30. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you tune in and celebrate all of his success. The South Dakota Hall of Fame, which Mike would be very disappointed that I just said that he was inducted to the Watertown Hall of Fame, which is one step above, of course. Thank you. Thank you for correcting.
Good afternoon. I'm Kim Bellum, the director of Mount Marty University Watertown campus here in Watertown, and I know that I was with you last week, and so I'll just give a very quick update. As of this time, our students, we're just finishing our second week of our 14-week semester, and so I'm happy to report that they are also making great personal choices and practicing their social distancing within their classrooms and wearing masks in public places. We're adhering to all of Lake Erie Technical College's guidelines since we are housed on their campus, and we're very appreciative of everything that they're doing to help sanitize those spaces. Our instructors are doing so as well when they finish using the classrooms in the evenings, and so things are going very, very well for us. Right now, out of our student population here in the Watertown campus, we don't have any active cases. We have 2 of our students who are on quarantine because of exposure. And so things seem to be going very, very well. And again, I want to remind any of those students or anyone here in the Watertown community that are attending classes through Mount Marty University that they do have access to a website or a phone number with Avera Health, because Mount Marty University has partnered with Avera Health to screen our students for COVID if they think that they're suffering from those symptoms or they want those guidelines. So we're thankful to them, and we're thankful to the healthcare partners we have here in Watertown who have been working with us to help keep our students safe. And we just want to hope that they continue to make those good choices as we head into a 4-day weekend for our students. So I would ask them to continue to do so. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Superintendent of Florence School, Mitch Reed. I'd first like to thank our school staff, our school board, and our community for their patience and understanding during this time. Our school staff, despite these pressing times, are putting students first. Their ability to reach out and make each student feel safe and comfortable is greatly appreciated by not only me and our school board, but the community as well. Our school board, for their continued support and flexibility with this pandemic. They are making great decisions in a fluid situation to give our school direction. That is, as well, greatly appreciated. And lastly, our community. The support we have received from the community has been awesome. Many of the procedures and expectations at school have been reiterated at home, and it shows when the students walk through the doors. Thank you for your continued support. One of the biggest questions I've received is how we're communicating our positive cases as well as our close contact at the Florence School District. The Department of Health recommends a certain way to communicate when a positive case has surfaced. At Florence, we have sent out a letter to inform parents that a positive case has been identified. That letter also includes symptoms to look for within your students in the 14 days thereafter. After that letter, administration will begin to call close contacts and explain the process to them. If you do not receive a call directly from us, we do not consider you a close contact. After that process, the Department of Health will conduct their investigation, and you may receive a call later from them if the Department of Health deems you as a close contact. With any additional questions on that process, please give the school a call at 758-2412. Lastly, after a full week of school, we have made some adjustments to better serve our students. Things within our day-to-day operations have been altered to eliminate extended exposure and to keep students safe. With the increase of number of positive cases and quarantined students at the Florence School District, we have decided to mandate masks in public spaces. Students that are in hallways, in the lunchroom, and before and after school will be required to wear masks here at the Florence School. We will still keep our highly recommended stance in the classroom. Just an update on our numbers. These are the latest ones that I've received this afternoon. We have 3 positive student cases within our community, 1 staff, and then overall 30 quarantined students. And that, with taking that into consideration with our school board and those high of numbers this early on, that kind of fueled our decision to mandate masks in those public spaces. Again, with any questions, don't hesitate to call us here at the school at 758-2412. I would like to introduce the Superintendent of Waverly-South Shore School, John Meyer.
Good afternoon. As Mr. Reed said, I'm John Meyer, Superintendent of Waverly-South Shore School. At Waverly-South Shore, we are just wrapping up our 2nd week of school. We remain in our phase 1 for attendance purposes and our return to school plan, and tier 1 in our activity attendance. These are the lowest tiers and phases in our return to school plan. What that means is, with regards to activities attendance, we are still open attendance for all fans and spectators. And with the phase 1, we are still full attendance at school in person. We introduced our first week of our hybrid instructional calendar this week. Our hybrid instructional calendar, if you can remember from a couple of weeks ago, we have Wednesdays designated as our remote learning day for all students. And for staff, we are using that Wednesday work time to plan and prepare lessons for our in-person learners, to edit and post lessons and presentations for our remote learners, and to conduct some deeper cleaning and disinfecting of our school properties and facilities. As all the other districts in the state are, we are continually evaluating and assessing the elements of our return to school plan as we go through our school year to ensure that we're incorporating any new or changing guidance that might come down from the CDC or the Department of Health, and also to ensure that we're delivering education to our in-person learners and our remote learners as effectively as possible. An update on district numbers at Waverly-South Shore. As far as remote learners, as of today, we have 10 students enrolled in full-time remote learning. We have 0 active cases of COVID-19 among our staff and student body, and currently have 2 students who are under quarantine orders due to exposure or because they have been verified as a close contact. In conclusion, would just like to extend my thanks and appreciation to our students, our staff, our Board of Education, our parents, and really everybody within the Waverly-South Shore School District for their understanding, their cooperation, and their appreciation for everything that we are doing within the school district to help make sure we can continue to operate as normally as possible throughout this COVID-19 pandemic. And one final note, as we do enter our Labor Day weekend, strongly encourage, as Mayor Caron noted earlier, please exercise all due caution going into the weekend. Exercise social distancing. If it's not possible, wear a mask, proper hand cleansing, anything that we need to do to continue to combat the spread of this disease so that we in the school districts can continue to operate face-to-face and as normally as possible for the benefit of our students. Thank you very much, and I will remain for any questions.
Thank you, everyone, for all your great information there. As we all heard, COVID is not going anywhere anytime soon. And so with that in mind, again, we're still seeing the numbers increasing. People are still getting sick, and people are being hospitalized from this disease. So as you just heard from John there, make sure you're social distancing. Make sure you're wearing your mask when you're out there. You're washing your hands. You're doing your part. You're staying home when you're sick. We all have to do our part to not only protect ourselves, but to protect our community. And as Dr. Dan has said many times up here, this is a marathon, and we are not done with it by any means. So stay vigilant, be responsible in all your daily actions to help slow the spread of COVID. One last thing, again, as John mentioned, it's the Labor Day weekend, and here at the police department we have a saying for that this week, and that's drive sober or get pulled over. And that's the big national campaign that's going on. Every year, about 10,000 people die in traffic crashes across the United States, and about a third of those are alcohol related. And the really sad part about all that, it's 100% preventable, those crashes are. So as you're out there this weekend, be responsible, get a cab, call an Uber, whatever you need, plan ahead, and do not drink and drive. Over the Labor Day weekend across the United States, we see a large increase in alcohol-related crashes, and so we want to curb that as well. And in addition, to help do that, from now until September 7th, the Watertown Police Department is going to be doing saturation patrols all throughout Watertown. So we're going to have officers out there, and their sole job when they come on duty is to patrol and look for drunk drivers all over Watertown to help make this a much safer community and hopefully help some people make some smart choices out there. So again, be safe this Labor Day weekend, not only to not drink and drive, but to practice social distancing and help slow the spread of COVID as well. So thank you for joining us today at this time. We will turn it over to the media if there are any questions from the media today. And I think that silence means there are no questions. So everybody have a great Labor Day weekend, and be safe out there and be responsible. And we'll see you next Thursday at 3 p.m. Thank you.